Now I would like to show you two strategies on finding common multiples. Let's say an example asks you to find the common multiples of 2 and 3. Just like when we were finding common factors, to find common multiples there are two strategies. Let's talk about the first strategy. For strategy number 1, I'm going to make a list of the multiples of each number in my example. In this example, we're working with 2 and 3, so I would go through the first few multiples of 2 and the first few multiples of 3 to see if it answers my question. So if I list the first 6 multiples of 2, I would end up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 as my first 6 multiples of 2. Now I would go ahead and do the same thing for 3. And I would get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. So now that I've listed a few multiples for each number, I want to go through my list and see if any are common. So if I look at my list, 2 is my first number for 2, but there's not a 2 in my list for 3. 4 is in my list of 2, multiples of 2, but not for 3. I have a 6 in my multiples of 2, and I have a 6 in my multiples of 3. So that tells me that 6 is a common multiple of 2 and 3. Here I have a 9, but not 1 and 2. I have an 8, but not 1 and 3. So if I keep going, now I find that there's a 12 in 6, and there's a 12 in 3. So it is also common to both lists. And since 12 is my last number in the multiples of 2, I'm done for now. So by making this list, the first 2 common multiples I found are 6 and 12. Now I would like to talk to you about the second strategy of finding common multiples of any given number. The second strategy for finding common multiples of any numbers is also using a Venn diagram. So in our example, we're working with 2 and 3. So in this circle, I would list all the multiples of 2, and in this circle, I would list all the multiples of 3, as I've done here. Now if I look in both circles, I look for any multiples that are the same or common in each one of the circles. And if I look through my circles, I see that I have a 6 and a 12 here, and I have a 6 and a 12 here. So I've found common multiples. When you're using a Venn diagram to find anything that's common, you're going to want to put whatever is common in this intersecting section of the diagram where the 2 circles overlap, as I've done here. So I've taken the 6 and the 12 out of the 2 and 3 circles and put them in the center, because they're common to both 2 and 3. And when you're using a Venn diagram, you could only list each number one time. So using the second strategy is basically just like using the first strategy of making a list, because we still determine that 6 and 12 are the first 2 common multiples of 2 and 3. I hope this helps. Good luck in finding common multiples.